All right, guys, it's time for the Next Level Guy Show, a men's interview, interest, and improvement-focused podcast featuring interviews with the greats from all industries to help you better your life. Each week, a new episode features an interview with one of the greats, covering all aspects of their story, from life hacks to tips and protocols that have allowed them to live life on the next level. We then highlight concrete action steps that you can use to improve your life. And now, your host, Ian Dawson McKay.
Yoga isn't just stretching, it's the secret weapon to move smarter, recover faster, and stay rolling for longer. And that's a quote from today's guest, Bianca Ilea. What if leveling up your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game wasn't about grinding harder, but it was about learning to breathe deeper, move better, and connect with your body on a whole new level? In this episode, Bianca reveals how yoga for BJJ unlocks hidden strength, builds resilience, and helps you improve your long-term performance, both on and off the mats. Meet Bianca Ilea. She's a yoga for BJJ instructor, a judo black belt, and a movement specialist. Bianca's journey began with high-level judo competitions where grit and toughness were everything. But something was missing. After facing burnout after years of injury after injury, she found her true calling, blending yoga, recovery, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and mindfulness into a system that doesn't just build better athletes, it builds stronger, happier, and more resilient humans. Today, Bianca helps grapplers transform their performance by combining breathwork, mobility, recovery, and mental strength together. Whether you're brand new to yoga or a seasoned martial artist, Bianca shows you how to train smarter, move with intention, and stay on the mats for the long haul, which has to be the goal of all martial artists. Get ready to rethink what real progress looks like, and let's start from the inside out. And now, let's get chatting to Bianca. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I've been a big fan of your content now for quite a while, but for people who don't recognise the name, and you're going to explode in popularity, how would you define who you are?
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me, first of all. And yeah, secondly, well, how would I define? So, firstly, I'm a yoga teacher. That's my main thing, yoga. And then I'm also a BJJ practitioner. So I managed to combine the two of them somehow. And yeah, I think this is what defines me. I'm a yoga teacher which does BJJ. Therefore, I combine the two. So I do yoga for BJJ. So yeah.
And so you're originally from Romania?
Yeah. I'm Romanian, yeah.
So how did you, because in your history on your website, you mentioned that you trained jiu-jitsu now, but you trained judo from about 6 years old, I think it was, and you were very good. You were training with Olympians and stuff. How did you get into that?
My dad. So my dad is a big fan of martial arts. He used to do martial arts himself and lots of other sports, but we also had some other family friends which were already into judo. I'm not sure, but judo is it was quite big in Romania when I was little. I'm sure it still is, but yeah. So he sent me to training and I just loved it straight away, and honestly it just became my personality for a long time. A long time, I think 4 years. It's not that long really, but it felt long because it was very intense. So I started when I was a kid, and yeah, I was quite aggressive straight away. So I became good quite quickly. Then I got noticed and I got asked to join the national Romanian team, which luckily was also in my city. So yeah, this is how I made it there. I started then training. I remember I was training in the morning before school, and then I was going to school, and then I was coming back to training in the evening, and we were training 6 days a week. I only had Sundays
Jeez.
off, and literally, and I was like 13, 14 by this point. So my body literally became to fall apart, and eventually I had to stop because it became too much for me. And I felt like, I don't know, like we didn't have proper education. And I think there's a lot of the cases, even nowadays, the coaches are just pushing, pushing, pushing. But where is the recovery? Like the recovery is so important. And now doing yoga and everything, looking back, I just feel like this could have been avoided so much with the proper recovery and like the proper, rest, and not kept pushing, especially at that age as well. Because yeah, it was just too much.
What did that sort of teach you, that age, try to deal with school, having a social life, friends, just keeping on top of all like the normal stuff you would do, but juggling training, nutrition, recovery, because that's such a burden. What did you learn about yourself during that time?
At that time, because I was so young, I just started to feel so lonely and so different, because none of my friends were, well, only my judo friends were doing the same. But then also most of the girls I was training with, they were quite older than me. So I think like at least 2 years older than me. So they were already like in high school, and it was more flexible for them, or I don't know. So for me, I just became very lonely, and I didn't, because I was so young, I didn't actually have the time for a reflection, thinking, oh, like what does this mean in my life? I just wanted to run away from it. So that, I think when I was 14, I was like, okay, I never want to do sport again. So I just want to be normal. I want to be part of the group. I don't want to have massive back as well as a girl. So
yeah, grappling's not the best for staying small, is it? Yeah.
Especially as a girl, and especially when, because at that age, the boys are a little bit smaller than girls anyway. So I was like big in comparison to everyone else, and I was like, oh my god, like I just feel so odd. And when I decided to quit judo, I just remember like hating going to like do sports and stuff like that. So for a very long time, I didn't do any sports. I didn't want to. Yeah, I was like, ugh, no. So then I got into high school, and I actually went to art high school. And I don't know if it's the same in England, but like in Romania, it was kind of like not a competition, but it was, you either an artist, either a sport person. It was like a weird thing,
Yeah.
right? And then I was obviously an artist, right? Because I was in the art school. So yeah, sport again was so far out of my side. But then growing up and having, let's say, some like mental struggles and just life struggles in general, life brought me back to sport. And I realized that, reflecting back now when I was doing judo, I was the happiest in that time, because I didn't have time to like think about all the, I don't know, like issues, whatever other stuff. So I think just sport just allows you to be like your real self, because you can play. And now I'm an adult, right? And I feel like I can tap into my inner child easier. So yeah, I think if I'd be to take a learning from when I was a kid, is just that sport, it is my real personality and what makes me feel the best. And I actually gave up art in a way. I mean, I'm still doing creative stuff, obviously, on my Instagram. That's what keeps me creative. But drawing and all of these things, for a long time I thought that's my personality. But yeah, I was wrong, I'd say.
I think
it's
that's
sport.
the thing when you're younger into it, is we say to kids, pick this, pick that. You can't choose both. Then as you get older, you realize you could have a sporty side, a creative side, you can have various parts of you. You don't have to define yourself. And it's a lot of
Yeah,
pressure to put on somebody young, and especially, when you're maybe struggling at the time to fit in, and somebody says to you, do you want to step out? Most kids are going to step away. But you said on
yeah.
your website that your initial recovery methods were really bad when you were doing judo. What were they teaching you at that point about recovery? Did they really focus on it, or was it a case of just go away, eat, and come back at 8
No,
o'clock? Was there anything?
Honestly, not even eat. Like, it was so bad because I was competing very often. Now when I think about it, I'm like, how is that even possible? But like, I remember I was doing not cut, because you don't, when you're a kid you don't cut properly, but like
Mm.
I was constantly kind of dieting, so I do the lower like category in weight, and like I said, I was like 13 and stuff like that. So yeah, they encourage you to go on a lower category in weight, or at least that's how it was like a few years ago. Obviously now it's been like so long, maybe people
It's
got a
kind
bit
of
more.
exploded a bit now, you know.
Yeah, we didn't have all this like internet and social media to educate ourselves so easily, but yeah. And then in terms of the recovery, it was like just nothing. Like you had a day off, that's it. That's your recovery. I remember I actually started to develop scoliosis because in judo, you do like lots of things, and it's very explosive as well. So if you do lots of explosive movement on one side, it, like your spine is naturally gonna start kind of
Oh, because
going
you start
that direction.
twisting into the throws
Yeah.
and
And I was going for it, and then I started to have really bad back pain, and we actually had a physio in the team, and he was trying to give me some exercises, but to be fair, because I was so young, I was like, oh, like this is so boring, it's so slow. So he told me, but it's not like, yeah, it wasn't, I don't know, he wasn't there with me to hold my hand the whole journey, I guess. So yeah, that's why I didn't even really do them. So that was my fault as well.
I think that's the thing into it. Is like you see your life as like you're young. You know, you're thinking about school, you're thinking about friends, you're thinking about stuff that's happening. You're not thinking of what you're going to be like at 40, 50, 60.
Yeah.
So you
No,
don't think longevity when you're that age because you can
no.
do it and then jump
Mm.
back in and do something else the next day. Whereas if you're like me, you're out, you feel out of shape just thinking about going and training. I
Yeah, but
think
the thing is, I feel like not even people my age, and I'm 28, I feel like not even people my age are thinking about longevity, because you still feel good at 20, even
mhm.
30, I don't know, 5, I guess. You feel quite like fresh. So you just don't think about your 50s and even 60s, 70s. Like it just seems so far away.
I mean, I'm 40. I'm 42 now, and I just whenever I think back, my brain says yes. My body kind of goes, okay, let's
Mm,
think about this. You know, with a bit more warm up, with a bit more cool down, with a bit more of a kind of structured approach, you can still train. You just have
yeah,
to be trained smarter, not harder, as they say.
yeah.
Was that what led you into judo? From judo, sorry, into BJJ, that you liked the sport more, but also led you into yoga, that you needed a recovery tool?
So like I said, I completely gave up sport when I
Mm-hmm.
was like in high school and after 14 years old. And I think it was around, so I started going to the gym because I was like, oh, I just want to I want to have abs, right? That's how I was like,
Don't we
okay.
all?
Exactly. That's why I wanted to go to the gym. So I started going to the gym, and then eventually I got hooked because I loved the feeling that it gave me. At this point, I wasn't doing anything else. I tried yoga. Actually, I tried yoga when I was 18 once, and I was like, ooh, like, this is horrible. Like, I don't like it. It's so
Yeah, I'm not
like,
going to make a career out of this.
yeah, exactly. I was, oh, this is like so confusing, right? Everything is so hard. Anyway, so then I went to the gym a few years. I think after about 2 years of starting my gym journey, I was like, okay, like, I think I need to start stretching. So I remember coming from the gym, and actually, at the same time, I was in a quite a bad period of my life. So living in Bournemouth, I recently would have just moved there, and I didn't know anyone. I had like a job which was part time, which I didn't really like and stuff like that. So yeah, I was going to the gym and came home, and I was like, okay, let me just try some yoga to do some to stretch, because that's all I knew about yoga back then.
Mm.
And this is how I kind of got into it. So I did a few classes, and then I remember one class. It was so nice. Like, I just been to the gym, and then I came home. I did a class, and at the end of the class, it was shavasana, and the lady was actually Boho Beautiful. I used to do it with, and I still do on YouTube. She was guiding us through like a meditation. It was so powerful, honestly. I think it was the first time when I realized it kind of like it opened the door. I think it was the first time I realized there's more than this body.
Yeah.
So I managed to access my inner self and my inner world, and I was like, oh my god, this is amazing. So I continued to use the meditation and dive deeper into yoga because of my mental health situation and stuff like that back then. And then I just fell in love with the physical part, of course, and then I discovered all these like advanced poses, and I had really a lot of fun with them. But then through them I realized you can go so much deeper into the mental side of things and the spirit. So yeah, this is how I became hooked. And then in parallel I because I started to get back into movement, I started to really crave judo, and because I started to tap into this inner child, right? So I was like, like, wouldn't it be so nice to just do a sport like I used to do? Because I remember I used to have so much fun, and eventually I just joined a BJJ class because that was very close to judo. Of course, I like to say that judo is you start with judo and then you finish with BJJ, right?
No.
So yeah, and I just fell in love with it straight away because it felt quite natural in my body and I could get the moves well up to a specific percentage, but yeah.
And do you find that sort of the cross training helped? That doing the judo gave you that good grounding, that it
Yeah,
kind of almost felt natural. That at least the
yeah,
stand up game, and you kind of understood the mechanics of levers and throw
yeah,
points and all that kind of stuff. Did you pick it
yeah.
up quite quickly at the time?
I think so, yeah, to be fair. I mean, comparing to other people that joined at the same time, I would say it's because I was already firstly used to the aggression from judo. Like, I'm not scared. No, honestly, I'm not scared to be like dragged around, right? Or to drag people around. So that was one. And then secondly, I'm used to the gi because I started in a gi. Of course, judo is in a gi. So that was quite familiar. Everything felt familiar to me. And then in judo, you also do lots of groundwork anyway. So of course you don't submit, but you do. I even competed in only ground judo competitions, if that makes sense. I don't know. You just
No.
hold the person down for like a specific amount of time, and then this is how you win. But yeah, so for that reason, grappling felt natural to me. And then yeah, I just had to learn what actually BJJ means. So like all the positioning and the more the theory side of things.
Because that's the thing, isn't it? Is like they say it's the gentle art, and you're literally beating the crap out of each other, and then you shake hands at the end, and you appreciate the combat of it. And I suppose it's the closest a lot of us get to like wars and like proper fighting and stuff. And
Yeah, to be
it's something that
fair.
it helps us like cognitively as well as
Mm,
physically. But did you
mhm.
start noticing when the people you trained with were coming into it not having a clue about how to recovery, not able to figure out how to help their body? Did you see them getting like nagging injuries?
Oh
What
my
was the?
God.
Did you see the same problems that you saw in judo?
Yeah, even worse, of course, because you're older, so your body is a bit more stiff naturally. And then also, if you're not coming from a sports background and you start BJJ, your body is not athletic and is weak, so you're gonna get
No.
injured. And to be fair, I'm saying that, but I was in the same boat because at this point, when I started BJJ, I was already practicing yoga, but I wasn't like, oh my God, like I'm such a yoga girl, like doing it properly. So I was just doing classes every now and then and like doing a stretch there and there and meditation. So I was kind of combining the different aspects of yoga in my own way. And then I started BJJ and I actually slowed down my yoga because I was so obsessed with BJJ. I was just training that. And I started to get injured so often. Oh my God. I remember I had my wrist, my uh, back, my ankle, literally everything in the first 6 months, right? And then I was like, no, actually, yeah, because I had my back injury. So I started to develop herniated disc. I was like, okay, I think this is the calling to get back into yoga properly. So I started to do yoga again properly, and yeah, eventually my herniated disc started to get better, and then I could carry on with training jiu-jitsu as well. And I was like, wait a second, there's like these two things, like they just go hand in hand. Like you can. I mean, you can. I don't know how people can, but I feel like in my view, you can't do one without, like, you shouldn't do one without the other. So yeah, and then I actually it was a coincidence, but at this point I found online some people, they were doing, have you heard of Budokan yoga?
I've heard of it. I've never. I don't think I can think of what it looks like.
It's like it's Budokan yoga is like the mixture of martial arts movement with calisthenics, with of course yoga, and it's basically all into a yoga. It's like a new type of yoga, let's say. Yeah, and then I discovered this. Actually, if that explains better, Budokan is called like the warrior yoga, or like the way of the warrior, if you translate it word by word. Anyway, and yeah, I discovered this person, and I was like, oh wow, these things actually exist already. So okay, so I'm gonna dive deeper into this. And around that time, I decided to actually get qualified as a yoga teacher. So I started to take my yoga very seriously at this time, of course, in parallel training BJJ. So this is how they kind of grew together.
So, what is it about that? Because something I really like about your content, like on your TikTok, etc., is you'll show a video and you'll say, "Well, you don't think yoga matches jiu-jitsu," and you'll show a position that you hold in yoga and how it could be part of side control or how it helps your triangles or whatever.
Yeah,
How do yoga? How do they go hand in hand with jiu-jitsu? What is it you think that they help each other
I just,
develop?
do you know that meme which says BJJ is just involuntary yoga? I think that just explains
Like
the
holding
best.
people with their clothes on. Yes.
Yeah, right. So if you're like, if you know you're going to get folded in a specific position, why don't you just fold yourself and get comfortable there? And then from there, you're going to have more options to
Fair point.
control, move, right?
Yes.
So this is my view, honestly. Like, yeah, when you get, I think the best example for me that I always like to give is when you get stuck in like a stuck position. Honestly, a lot of people are really struggling there because you can't breathe, your back is so tense, like you just can't get in that position. But if you manage to stay there comfortably, then honestly, you're just so much in a better position in jiu-jitsu because you can actually do lots of stuff from there. So you make it a lot harder for your competitor to do things to you, right? So I think, yeah, in that way, it helps you get in better positions. But that's just the physical part of things. It's also to do with the breathing, like, to be fair, if you can be a black belt, but if you can't breathe properly, you, you can't really do much, can you?
No.
So of course, if you're a black belt, you will learn anyway, because in that amount of years you'll just develop. Yeah, there's the shortcut, and I think that's what yoga is.
I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? It's using breath to move your body through into certain positions and get comfortable and isometric holds and all that. And there's such a similarity to jiu-jitsu, except somebody's
Yeah.
trying to choke you out at the same time. At least with yoga, you
Well,
can
yeah,
kind of control it easy if you really want. But how do you
yeah.
see, like, when somebody starts doing both? What do you notice about somebody? Is it the fact they've got a bit more mobility? Is it that they can just move a bit better, go deeper into guards and things like that? What kind of signs do you start seeing when somebody's doing yoga and jiu-jitsu at the same time?
Actually, I have a friend at one of the clubs. She does yoga as well, and she's a white belt. And honestly, I find it so hard to roll with her because she is just she moves so easily. It's quite hard for me to get to stabilize the position because she's just too mobile, flexible. Like, I think that's the main point.
I like it because I've watched a lot of your videos and you can see how your yoga is used to improve your flexibility or improve your position, but it's still a dogfight, and it gives you that, like, the secret code, like it lets you level up your jiu-jitsu
Yeah,
playing. And it's like you said
yeah,
earlier, why wouldn't you learn how to get your body into better positions or breathe through when you're getting stuck in the most get comfortable in the uncomfortable positions? But
yeah.
how much do you need to get into yoga to get better with jiu-jitsu? Do I need to understand the what do you call it, like the belief behind it, the all the sort of spiritual side of it? if somebody kind of says, "Oh, yoga's it's a bit out there for me," but you showing it can be applied to the martial art. What would you say to somebody that's been an idiot like that?
I think you don't need to go into the spiritual side of things. You just need to be aware that you're not just a physical body. Like, if you have this blockage, then yeah, you can just do, like, I don't know, go to the gym and do mobility exercises and stuff like that, which is going to help. But if you want to go deeper, you just need to realize that there is more to you. And also, BJJ, so martial arts, are actually deeper than just like the physical side of things, because it teaches you so much more about like all the respect, the discipline. So like all of these things come from within. And when you're talking about yoga, this is what it works on. So we say your yoga is not a workout, it's a work in, first of all. So that's that's how it is. It focuses, it comes, everything, the strength, the power, it comes from within, rather than I'm practicing my muscles, Again, I'm not saying, like, because I go to the gym as well, so of course it's good to practice the muscles as well, but yoga is just a different type of practice. Yoga is a philosophy as well, so it just goes a little bit deeper. And yeah, you don't need to go spiritual, you just need to, the minimum, just practice being aware of the body while you while you do the class, just being aware of the body, being aware of the breath, and then being aware of the body. That's all. And you're gonna improve in your martial arts, in your everyday life, and as a person in general.
No, I love it. I mean, it's a fair point. I mean, it's like, why would you leave potential gains on the table? You can get better and move better, but you also, like you're saying, is it can actually let you find out who the real you is, the real your
Exactly.
real PowerPoint. And I think that's the thing, is why not, why wouldn't you do that? So do you encompass like mindfulness, meditation, in addition to your jiu-jitsu and your yoga? Do you journal? Do you use visualization? What do you do for the cognitive side of things?
Everything. Literally, I tried everything. So, and I do, so I meditate every morning, and I do sleep hypnosis every night.
Okay.
And then depending of how I'm feeling in my life, I do journal if I feel like I need to. I do lots of other things, like sometimes I do like the tapping. I don't know if you heard about it.
Oh, like emotional freedom technique where you
Yeah,
tap the.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I used to do lots of other things like kinesiology, all of this. So because so this spiritual side also started because I also had an autoimmune disease, and it was quite bad. And I went to the doctors, many doctors. They said, no, we can't solve it. You just need to use the steroid cream all the time. But the steroid cream was really aggravating it. So I had no solution really from the doctors. So then I got to the conclusion, like I was just thinking in my head, I was like, if my brain, because autoimmune disease is something that is created by your brain, really, like because your body just attacks yourself, right? Your immune system just attacks yourself.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, if my brain decided to do that, then surely I can teach my brain to reverse that, right? So this is how I got really, really deep into meditation and all these practices, just by trying to heal this autoimmune disease. And it took me 2 years, but I did heal it actually. And yeah, they said it's not possible. And to anyone that are listening and they're struggling with any skin disease or anything, it is possible. It just takes a lot of work and a lot of strength, mental strength.
Uh,
So
I mean,
yeah.
there's been a lot of thought into these kind of like our mental health, the stuff we have in the atmosphere, the foods we eat, how we eat it off, the
Mm,
plastic containers and all this kind of stuff, and
yeah.
how we can fix ourselves by removing the garbage in our minds and in our bodies. And there's a lot to be said about just by fixing your brain and your gut health to fix your body.
Yeah,
And
it's really hard because you need to just unlearn everything you learned your whole life, and then pick how you want to live. Like how do you really want to live your life? Do you want to keep consuming like these, I don't know, foods or whatever? Do you want to keep applying those products. Like you need to question everything, or at least that was my journey. So I had to question even like my makeup products, my shampoo and everything. I realized everything had chemicals that might have affected my skin and all of these things. So I had to eliminate everything, literally everything, like you said, plastic and stuff, and then incorporate lots of self-care, mindfulness, meditation, slowing down, because we're always in a fight or flight mood constantly, right? We're just trying to get there. We're just trying to, I don't know, solve things, make more money. I don't know, always tasks, right? And yeah, it doesn't work like that, because we need that side of us, of course, but we need the slowing down side. We need the balance. Otherwise, we're not going to function properly, and this is how we get out of balance.
It's time for a quick break. There are millions of potential products to buy, so how do you know which ones are worth your hard-earned money? Simple. You go to nextlevelguy.com/affiliates and explore those that will transform and improve your life. You'll find deals, listener exclusives, and special offers with some great companies. Recommendations are 100% honest and only on items Ian has tried or believes in. The companies showcased will make you a better man in all areas of your life. Simply go to nextlevelguy.com/affiliates and level up.
Because I think that would help so many people just listening if they just said, take all the crap out, slowly add it back in to see what works and what doesn't, add in the self-care, do some visualization, and it would help them find their version of their true power, like you did when you did the mindfulness. But you were saying there about balance. If I said to you just now, you've got to do a class in the morning, you've got to teach people, you are doing your jiu-jitsu class yourself, and you're going off to get your latest tattoo, and you're doing this, and you're doing that.
Yeah, okay.
How do you balance that? I mean, how do you put in strength training, seeing your friends, doing your yoga? I know you can probably do shorter, relaxing yoga and maybe a 10-minute warm up before class or whatever. But how do you balance that? Do you do like jiu-jitsu twice a week and the rest of the week you're doing yoga? Do you incorporate them together? How do you build up that yoga in?
So I think it's all to do with discipline and well-structured calendar, which is also discipline. So I literally have everything in my calendar, like time with friends, cook meals, literally everything. And I try to follow it as much as I can. This is how I can, because I also have a full-time job. So yeah, I know my working in the office days are just set. I know what my schedule is, and then my classes are the same. So basically my week is the same, because my jiu-jitsu classes are at the same time, the same day. So like, yeah, I do BJJ like twice or 3 times a week, and then I go to the gym in the mornings twice a week. I practice yoga like Fridays or during the weekend, and then I also do my classes around my training. So the classes I teach, I mean. So yeah, it's just I am when I'm talking, like, yeah, I know I'm talking about balance, and I could say I'm a bit too much at the moment. So I am trying to find a better balance in my life, but I have my tools, and I think having the weekend to kind of slow down a bit. I think I also have ADHD, so I think that's a good thing for me, because it allows me to do all of these things because I have lots of energy.
No, I mean it makes a lot of sense of having the structure during the week and then having specific times to do stuff, because I think we all do that, don't we? Oh, I'll do that later, and then 3 weeks later, you're like, oh shite, what was it I was to do? But then you also have the weekend to kind of just let yourself be. I suppose it's like jiu-jitsu. You have the training version of you, and then you have the creative version, the one that goes and gets tattoos and all this kind of fun stuff.
Exactly. Yeah, and the thing is because people ask me, oh, like, how do you have time to do all of this? But it's not about, because we have so much time. It's all about prioritizing, right? So priorities, right? What is priority for you? Is it training? Is it work? Is it working on your business? Or is it watching the series and relaxing? Because that's fine, but it's just, you need to recognize that and be aware the fact that you can choose and be aware of your priorities as well.
It's a very fair point, and to know or understand that at such a young age. There's adults that still don't, and they go to their deathbeds wishing
Yeah,
they'd done more. But if
I
they
know, and it's
pick,
hard. Yeah, it's hard because it's hard to get out of your comfort zone. I, yeah, it is, especially with so many temptation nowadays and like the social media and stuff. It's very hard, but then also is the easiest it's ever been for us because we have access to so much information, we have access to so much support, and we have access to so much I don't know, tools, to help us get productive, such as AI and stuff like that. So pick your heart.
well, I mean, that's the thing, though. It's like you have some amazing products. You're doing like online classes. You're pulling out like a how would we say it, like a participation product where people can do your different programs, and you're doing like almost like online coaching and stuff. How do you find that? Like, how did you find the skills, the mentor, etc., to create a business as well as a full time job? I mean, I'm just running a podcast in addition to a full time job. You're creating it and you're building a very big reputation. How have you found that entrepreneur to training to coach to yogi to just you being you?
I think to be fair, I'm not doing anything apart from just following what I like to do. So basically, I'm
I
just
like
following
it.
my passion. Yeah, yeah, because I really love training BJJ, and then I genuinely love doing yoga, but I genuinely love teaching. It just makes me feel so fulfilled when I know I can help people in a real way and just make a difference. So just following that, the rest just comes. And I'm not saying it's easy because it's not at all. Like honestly, I get burned out on a weekly basis, and I'm unsure about where I'm going, if I'm doing the right things, and I don't really have like a mentor or anything like that. I'm just guessing if is the right thing to do. But the thing is, we just need to do it anyway because this is the way we find out. Like if I wouldn't do anything, I wouldn't know, right? So I'm just testing things out and keeping my eyes and ears open to what people say and the feedback, and just trying to take that on board. So yeah.
So, but what's the best way to start learning yoga? 'Cause, I mean, just 2 minutes
Mm.
into watching your videos, you realize the joy, the fun, but also the amazing correlation between becoming better at jiu-jitsu by doing yoga. But
Mm.
should we start in the general kind of yoga stuff? Should we start looking for how we can find similar movements in yoga that we can use in jiu-jitsu? What would
I
you
mean,
advise people?
it's so different from a person to person because some people like me would get into yoga just through like stretching and like the physical part of things, but some people would actually get into yoga through, like a lot of people I know, they go into yoga discovering meditation first and then introducing the physical practice.
Yeah.
So it depends, but I think the easiest way is just to go on YouTube and just test what you like, do a 10 minutes class and see how it is, do 10 minutes meditation and see how it is. But yeah, when it comes to BJJ, I think again it's just it will probably be the physical practice, right? So I think just trying from YouTube or just trying some stretches, see how it feels into your body, and taking from there. Of course, you can go to in-person classes. I think that would be really good, but I think a lot of people are intimidated to do that.
Well, I mean, they could
So
then do an online class with you. They could
that's what I'm
buy your
saying.
product.
Yeah,
Because I think that's the thing is on your site you've got a bit about how would you like you're looking at creating maybe specialist yoga patterns for people to try, and I think that's the beauty is we can order stuff now to do at home. It's no longer you have to go to a class, you have to go to a center.
yeah,
We
of
can, we
course.
can connect with you and pay you to show us how to do it in the privacy of our own home, which is amazing.
Yeah,
How
so I have yeah, so on my website at the moment I actually created, I think few weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, I launched this program which was for beginners because a lot of my audience are actually beginners. So it's for beginners, specializes in yoga for BJJ, and it covers not all aspects of yoga, but yeah, it covers the mobility, flexibility, and the recovery side of things. And like I said, it's made for beginners. So that would be like a really great way to start, because it's quite basic moves, but because it's tailored after jiu-jitsu, is a bit like it will probably give you a little bit of a challenge, but not too much, so you feel like you can't do anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think if you're looking for something like that, that'd be a great way to start.
Because what I do love about your social media, for example, is there's things like we all struggle with, even if you don't do martial arts, like you've tight shoulders, a sore back, tight hips, and just your little kind of routines about what to do if your shoulders are tight. I mean, I've got a shoulder impingement just now, and that benefited me so much. Just doing some of the movements, I was like, this is amazing. Yeah. And then I remember when I had tweaked my back, I can't remember what was that. I basically had a big guy land on me, and I was killing for days. And I was thinking, I wish I'd known that, some of the back tweet loosers and all that you use.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem, is we assume yoga's easy. It's not. I mean, there's a lot of isometric holding. There's a lot of very kind of difficult transitions and stuff like that. As we're starting, do you want somebody new to just go through the movement without pain? Do you want them to be slowly and build the technique? What would you want a newbie to focus on?
Again, is different from a person to a person, because someone might come to a class wanting to, or maybe like having like a lingering injury, and they just want to kind of like get rid of it, or like increase the mobility and stuff like that. Someone would just want to come to prevent anything. So like you said earlier, or like you think because you're 42, did you say?
Yeah. It's horrible to think about, yes.
Sorry to remind you. Yeah, because
I'm 24, sorry.
Okay.
I can hope.
Anyway, yeah, sometimes it's you're just thinking about that longevity and like later years. And then some people actually start yoga for that reason, because they want to feel better for a longer time. Some people start yoga because they already have issues. Some people start yoga just because they're stiff. And, so it depends of each person's need in particular. But I think generally just go into it with an open mind. Because like I said, when I started yoga and when I did my first class, I didn't like it. So it be quite like confusing, or it might seem either too easy or just too slow or something. But just go in it with an open mind and just try more than once. And like go slow, breathe. Yeah.
Because that's what I was going to ask, is like, how do you breathe through yoga? Because a lot of people, when we're weightlifting, when we're doing a lot of sports, we hold our breath because you're so focused, you forget to kind of concentrate on letting your breath out. How should you breathe?
That's what we do in yoga. So we basically, a good way to practice this is one breath, one movement. So for example, in yoga, we do like inhale, reach your hands up, and then exhale, release it down. Inhale, do something else, exhale, something else. Do you know what I mean? So every movement has a breath. Yeah. So that's a really good way. And then in yoga, we don't focus on the movement first. We focus on the breathing first. So when I cue the breathing first, if that makes sense. And then by practicing that, you're literally going to take that with you in real life. So if I'm in BJJ, if I'm like rolling with someone, I can actually listen to the person's breath and know if they're close to tapping or if they're tired, or I just feel their vibe. Because you're so in tune with, once you're so in tune with your breath, you realize you are in tune with the other person's breath. So it's really big advantage as well. Another one for jiu-jitsu.
I suppose it makes you a better jiu-jitsu for your subs, because you're kind of realizing you're almost like an anaconda with your chokes. You realize as they struggle, as they breathe out, to pull it tighter, and
you just know how long is left. Like
because that's a scary thing, isn't it? It's like these like medical guys doing jiu-jitsu. They know like which way to push something because it's not meant to go that way to get the tap. And so when we start, should we be is it a full body process? Should you be looking at doing a hip one, then or ankle movement one? Should we break it down into stabilization versus opening versus kind of just flexibility, or should we just do an all body thing, or does it depend on what you want and what you need and your history of injuries?
Again, it depends. So it depends because some people come to me and they're just like, oh my God, I really need some yoga because I have really tight hips. And I'm like, okay, in that case, we're going to work on hip mobility, hip flexibility. And then, of course, all the time, every time, we're going to work on body awareness as well. So that just comes.
Yeah.
But so body awareness and breath just is there all the time when it comes to yoga. But then you can bring the focus in different areas. So like I said, maybe like hip mobility. To be fair, mobility in general just should be part of the training anyway. So mobility is the base of the movement, and you just is a non-negotiable. So you just need to do that anyway. But then again, like I said, there are focuses where you can practice more.
I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? You look at what you want out of it to
Exactly.
what you challenge. How long should you be holding positions for? Should you just go through movements and go from one to the next? Should you hold it? What's the best return for it? Like say if you go into a transition that, like where you go a push up and you do like the Hindu push up and you push your head up, should you hold it at the top or go straight into the next movement? What's the best kind of approach?
Sorry, do you mean so like when you do yoga?
Oh, sorry, yeah, for yoga. What's the best kind of thing? Should you just go from movement to movement to movement through a pattern,
So it
or should
depends
you hold?
Again, it depends because so we're stretching, right? Is holding, you just need to hold it for a bit longer. So I would say, I always like to say minimum 5 long breaths. So when you think about the time, I mean, when you think about how long to hold the pose, again, don't think about the time, think about the breath. That's another way to
I love
exercise your
that.
breathing. Yeah. So if you do like a forward fold or something, just count your breath. And I like to do minimum 5 long breaths. If you want to practice your mobility, then there's no holding because you're practicing your range of motion.
Yeah.
So we're moving. Again, it depends. So if you're doing like a vinyasa flow, that's going to be one breath, one movement. So you're not holding any pose. But if you're doing like a hatha class, you hold not each pose, but most of the poses you hold them for longer. So maybe like 10, 20 seconds. So like again, 5 to 10 breaths. Yeah, does it answer your question?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because I like that idea of focusing on the breath because then it removes you from thinking of the struggle. You're thinking on the breathing, but you're centering yourself on one specific thing. Yeah, I really like that
And
idea
again,
of.
I'm going to take this example with like when you're in the stacked position. So, in BJJ, so like in yoga, we call that position the plow pose. So that, for example, in order to get comfortable here, you just need to hold it for, I don't know, at least, I would say 20 seconds, something like that. So you just need to, because, for example, we do cool down at the gym I train, BJJ, and then we do, in the cool part of the cool down, we do that position, legs over the head.
Yeah.
But we just hold it for like quick 10 seconds, like 1, 2, 3. And that does, I guess it's better than nothing, but it's not gonna make a difference, So if you really want to practice and get comfortable in those positions and also lengthen the muscles, release, you need to hold, you need to stay there, you need to go through the uncomfortable feeling because that's what it is, is getting used to being uncomfortable. That's what we're practicing.
Because that's what I love about your social media. Sorry to keep going on about it, but I find it amazing because in there's always a video on like, if you don't like this position, here's a position in yoga that you can use that mimics that away from the mats, which allows you to kind of get used to it, to learn how to breathe while you're in it. How do we use breathing to control our emotions? Because we all panic when we get stacked by some big guy at the gym or whatever, or they twist you into an uncomfortable position. How do you use yoga and the breathing to get comfortable in uncomfortable positions?
It's just being aware of it. So every time you panic, just bring yourself back to your breath, just like being aware of the breath makes all the difference. I know it sounds really easy, but it's really hard because our mind will always want to wander, and will always want to distract us, because that's what the mind does. It always thinks. So we need to quiet it. So by bringing it to the breath, we quiet the mind. So then we can't think about, oh my God, this guy is like, I don't know, suffocating me or whatever. So you need to focus on your breath. And then what I like to say is, as long as you can breathe, you're fine. And then just, if it doesn't matter, you're twisted in whatever position, can you breathe? Notice if you can breathe. Then if you can breathe, you're fine. So like, calm down and work your way up from there.
Yeah.
Think clearly. What can you do? There's no point, like, you know what I mean? Because you can breathe, so there's no point panicking. If that makes sense.
I really like that, because that's the thing, isn't it? It's like, you're not going to suffocate, you're not going to die.
Yeah.
It just means you just need to stop and go, okay, it's
Okay, I'm
just,
here. Like, acknowledge what's happening.
just sort of center yourself, realize that
Yeah.
you're getting the oxygen. You just need to then, I suppose that links to your body awareness. How do
Yeah.
we know where our body is? By using yoga, so that when we're on the mats, we know if our arms are left out or if we're twisted, how to untwist ourselves, how to get back to,
Yeah.
like, how do we know where we are? More like spatial awareness?
Yeah, I think it's all through the practice. So, for example, when you do like do you do any yoga, by the way?
I've done a wee bit through Diamond Dallas Page, the DDP yoga.
Okay. Yeah. So, for example, if you do like a warrior or any pose, right? I like to say, so. Okay, an easier one is like, the chair pose, when you have your knees bent. So you obviously focus on your legs. Your legs are burning, and all the attention go there. But just remember to focus on keeping your elbows and even your fingers straight. And this is how you develop body awareness. You are aware of the whole body. You're not just, oh my God, my legs are burning. That's not body awareness. It's like, so when I do the class, I always like to remind people how are you holding the whole position. Is your chest forward, is your chest back, is your belly engaged, is your elbows straight, and just by practicing this, you develop the body awareness. But then also by holding the poses, or like getting into specific poses, you just get to know your body better, and you know what your limits are. So this is how you develop. It's all through practice.
And what's as you're moving through the different motions and like stretching, and you're maybe doing things you haven't done since you're a kid, what is a good pain and what's a stop right now pain? Is it a sharp stabbing pain? Is pushing the muscle just a wee bit more than normal good? You feel a bit of stretch, but a sharp pain is a stop. What do you teach people?
I always like to say, if it's just an uncomfortable sensation, you're fine. Just breathe through it. But if it's a sharp pain, and especially a pain around the joint or the tendons, then you can adjust, or maybe even go out of it, or skip, or go into another position. But generally, I like to think of the sharp pain is a no-no.
That's probably a key for a lot of life as well. What do
And
you
you also
see?
need to identify, because if you stretch, it feels quite hard sometimes, and you just need to identify, is it your brain telling you, no, get out, oh my God, this is so hard, or is it actually a sharp pain? So it's practice. So if you really feel like your brain is telling you it's a sharp pain, you can just go out of it, but keep practicing and keep being aware of what your brain is telling you, because the brain is not always right.
I suppose that comes down to the mind-body awareness, doesn't it? You're having that mind-body connection. You're suddenly using muscles you probably never used in a long time. And when you have somebody that comes to you new, do you put them through just a standard yoga thing to see where they're struggling? Do you get them to fill out a questionnaire? Like, how can we analyze our current self to see, oh, I'm tight in my hips, I'm tight here, like, how can we see where we're struggling?
So it depends, because in person, I like to do a few poses with the person and test them out. But in online, I do have a form, and then I ask lots of questions there. And then from the questions they tell me, I do create either a basic flow, so depending of their needs, a flow that I think is suitable based on the questions. And then from there, we he goes or she goes through the flow, and then we just revise, and yeah, we can amend. So there's always feedback.
So if I came to you and we started doing yoga and I was like, holy hell, Bianca, you've changed my life. I'm super fit and I'm feeling more controlled and able to deal with being stacked. I mean, well, I used to do powerlifting and I could barely get my legs over my head because I used to deadlift a lot, but I
Hmm.
couldn't. I was so stiff everywhere. I couldn't move. I was
Yeah.
out of breath going up steps, for instance, because I did so much weightlifting, but not a lot of cardio. So I wasn't
Yeah.
designed for life. As- but how do we use yoga to benefit jiu-jitsu? How, not just the mobility, how do we roll better? How do we understand, like how do we become better on the mats by using yoga?
So it's just by practicing, you will automatically develop all the I would say the control and the awareness. So when you go into the role, you're not gonna, because I remember when I started to roll first time and I wasn't that deep into yoga, I was just like going crazy, right? Like no control, nothing. I was just going for the role. But when you actually learn about yourself, and like we said, to develop all this body awareness, you develop the better mobility and stuff like that. You're just going to be more controlled on the mat overall.
Hmm.
You're going to be more respectful of your body, and then of the other person's body, and you're just going to be able to think more clearly generally.
Because you've got a video where you show how you can improve your transitions through using certain jiu-jitsu kind of like training things, but also to utilize your yoga into it. So it's kind of like, I see how that works, how I can control myself, how I can use this transition in yoga to
Mm,
not have a sore knee at the end of shooting for a takedown or whatever it is. And it's really well thought out, your videos. And, I think that's why you should get a lot of fans from this, because you should really show people how to level up their jiu-jitsu by doing yoga. And I think
yeah.
that's the thing, is we kind of go, nah, yoga's for recovery.
Mm.
But it
Well,
is life-changing in talent and skill development. So how do we build this in? Do we do like a 10-minute in the morning, 10-minute at night, just after a class? How do we make it a consistent habit?
again, it depends because everyone has different lives and different training patterns. So some people like to do it just after or before the BJJ class. Some people like to do it separately, completely. So yeah, morning is always a great way to start your day with yoga. Even if you do it twice, I would say twice is really great, but even if you do it once a week is amazing, and you still see the difference.
Yeah.
And the thing is, because yoga is like the base of all movement, you can just incorporate anything, and then that's what I do. When you said about that, like mimicking the takedown or whatever, it's just teaching your body to move in a specific way, and then from there you can start implementing into your BJJ. But then your body is going to know how to move, where to move, how to like rotate on that knee or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Like it's
Yeah.
just
I suppose it's doing like mental, well, sort of lighter reps of the movement
yeah,
without the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
opponent,
exactly. That's
etc.
exactly what it is. Yeah.
And how do you utilize like training partners, bands, I don't know, like steps and stuff like that into your yoga, like to make it progressively more difficult, or to have a training partner to help you get into the more difficult positions or push you through tight bits?
Do you mean how I do my yoga sequences in order to be more difficult?
Yeah, well, I mean,
Or
you've got a video where you say about using a jiu-jitsu rolling partner for, helping you with your yoga, for example. You could train yoga
ah,
together. We can use bands to, I think we've got one somewhere down here. It's, to help you through a movement and help you hold it better or stretch a muscle or whatever.
yeah.
What accessories and training partners can we do to make yoga and help us more?
I mean, I really like that because it's so fun to just do it with someone else, to just do any movement with someone else, right? So yeah, I have a few reels. Stretching especially is really easy to do it with someone and really fun, because there's no competition anymore. Like, we've done that already, right? We're old. We try to kill each other. Now let's help each other, right? So yeah, it's really nice. There's so many stretches that you can do. Like, even if you put, the child pose, for example, when you go into child pose, even if the other person just puts a little bit of pressure on your lower back, it really goes a little bit deeper into your hips and like releases the lower back and stuff like that. So there's like lots of moves. You can see my reels as examples. But yeah, or like, if you know you're struggling on the other side, if you know you're struggling in like a specific position, you can ask your training partner to put you in that position, and then you can start thinking from there what to do. Like, what do you know what I mean? Like, okay, how can I move from here? Like, what do I feel tight in my body? Is it my back that is stopping me from evolving or progressing from here, or is it my breath? Am I panicking? Like, do you know what I mean? It's just, that's how.
No, it makes a lot of sense, because I suppose that's the thing, isn't it? They can feel where you're tight, or they can feel where you're pushing back, and they can help you through it by putting a wee bit maybe extra resistance, or helping you get into a position you might not be able to do yourself. No, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
What kind of
if you feel
time?
like your neck is stiff. Yeah.
Because that's the thing, you don't feel it because you live with it, so you're never going. Other people can notice these things.
Yeah.
What's a time frame for this? Is it like a couple of weeks to 6 months? Does it really depend on the person and where they're starting from before they start seeing an improvement?
Yeah, it definitely depends of your current level, but I would say you can definitely still see results in even a month. If you do it twice, a week, you definitely see results in a month. So from whatever level you are, but yeah, I would say if you want to proper like implement and like keep them with you, you need to say like a 3 month thing. Twice a week minimum, I would say.
And what are you looking for? Are you looking in terms of just a bit more flexibility? Are you wanting them to come back and say to you, I could get deeper into that guard? Or how do we know we're going the right way?
So you just feel it in your body, like because when I work with someone, I always ask them, how do you feel it in your role? Like, do you feel anything that improved? And then we can take it from there. So again, each situation is different for each person, but everyone is going to feel it differently, right? So yeah, you might feel I had a person, he really improved his hips, but then he realized he's got a problem with his shoulders now. So then I'm like, okay, so you know what I mean? Because you focus on your hips only for like a long period of time, but then when you let something else out of sight, it gets tight, right? Because so you always need to kind of revise. So you just, again, being aware.
I like that. I like that idea of like that. You're always juggling the different demands, but it's like anything, it's just try to keep our system going.
Yeah, exactly. All about balance.
So how do we then work with you? Like, say if somebody came to you just now and said, right, you've sold me on this. I really want to try it. Sounds great. I want to work with you. How do we become the best student for you? Like, do you want us to come and do an online class with you, and then we work on a specialist training program? What can we do to be the best student for you as a teacher?
So I have like I said, the form on my website, and people can fill up their requirements there, and then this is how we can actually work together one-to-one. So I can create personalized or customized programs, or even a class which you can repeat. So if you can tell me your needs, and for example, if you want to practice yoga once a week, then I'm going to give you one good sequence which matches all the requirements. So maybe you want to go into your hips and neck, I don't know. And then, I'm going to create the sequence around that. And from there, we can revise it on 2 bi-weekly or monthly period. And then, go from there.
And so if you were to sell yoga for BJJ just now, if somebody said to you, okay, why should I take your product? This is a perfect chance to sell it to people listening, because if they come this far, they're very interested. What do they get from buying your products and working with you?
They literally get everything else that is missing from BJJ. So basically, all the flexibility that you need is there. Like I said, mobility, which is the base of everything, is there. And also the recovery is so important. So yeah, in my 4-week program, this is how I thought about it. I thought about the perfect package, which I thought based on how I feel, how I used to feel, and based on all my colleagues at Jiu-Jitsu. So it's all like based on feedback, and this is what they gave me, and this is how I created the program. So it should be a complete package of what every BJJ practitioner needs.
Like, and you can do it in the privacy of your own home. You can do it at your own pace.
Yeah, of course. So it's online, yeah, and you can access it. It's lifetime access as well. So
Okay.
yeah.
I mean, I think that's the best thing about it is it shows your belief in it that that you can do something that they can do by themselves and that'll change their lives, or they can do online classes and then they can take it to a deeper level with you. I mean, I'd love to do another interview at some point and go into deeper things. I know we're kind of tight for time today, but I think there's so much about this that is so beneficial to every grappler, and people should be
Yeah, for
definitely
sure.
buying this. But what would you want them to take from this? I mean, this is your first podcast, you were saying, and you seem a natural at this. You seem the person that we could easily fall in love with and train and think, oh, you're amazing. You're such a good coach. You're so easy to absorb. How do you want people to use this? Because not just following you on social media, how do we then think, okay, I am going to do this. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to become fit, healthy, mobile, etc. What do you want them to do as a challenge or a reminder going forward?
It's just starting small. So identifying first, just stopping from where you are and taking a moment to see where are you in your body, in your life, what do you actually need right now, and then just take one thing and then focus on that thing, whether that's to do, of course we're talking about BJJ here, right? So whether that's to do with your I don't know, you get injured too often. So maybe that's because you train so much, or you train too much, or maybe because you don't have a proper recovery routine. So start there, start looking into recovery. Like I said, yeah, you can look into my program. It's got recovery side as well. Just start with anything. You can also look through my videos and do like little stretches. So even that, it makes all the difference. So yeah, if I'd be to give something out of this, is just to say that recovery is as important as training. It's like literally 50-50. Like you can't neglect it. You will be forced to take it otherwise.
Because I did one of your videos. I just followed along with I think it was the tight shoulder one when I had the shoulder impingement, and I got relief. It was the first time in ages. It wasn't painful. It wasn't throbbing and like feeling like it wasn't going in the socket properly. It was just it relaxed, and I think I was just thinking, this is amazing. I was singing your praises to everybody, saying you've got to try this. But
yeah, thank you.
Until we can get you back on and we can do some more and I can get you on other people, etc., how can we find you? How can we follow you on social media? How can we buy the products? How do the online classes? Buy your 4-week training program, etc. How can we keep in touch with this journey you're on?
So the easiest is on my Instagram. This is where I'm most active. So bianca.yoga.bjj. And then I'm actually building my YouTube channel, which I think would be really beneficial for a lot of people just to try out for free. So yeah, you can just type Bianca Ilea, Bianca Yoga BJJ. And then also my website. So Bianca Yoga bjj.com, and then you can find my products there. So like I said, the one-to-one personalized plans, and also my 4-week plans for beginners. I also have a PDF an injury prevention guide. So yeah, you can find all my products there. Of course, I'm going to keep updating them and adding new things, and then also on TikTok. So I'm starting to build my TikTok as well, but yeah, mainly on Instagram.
Well, that's it for another week, and thank you for listening. It's now time to take what you've learned and use it to develop and enhance your life with the key points mentioned. Listen, try it, embrace it, use it, and crush it. Now's your time to hit that next level in your life. If you liked this episode, then please leave a comment on the show notes or a review of the show on your podcast platform. Everything helps evolve the show. Until next week, keep seeking the next level in your life.